Hello, this is Christian of FireFeDragon, and thank you for joining. Wealth, fame, power. Gold Roger obtained this and everything else the world had to offer, and his dying words drove countless souls to the sea. You want my treasure? You can have it, but you'll have to find it first. I left everything I gathered in one place. One of my favorite series is One Piece. It has almost 1,000 episodes of the anime alone released. It is a grand adventure series where we get to explore the imaginative world of Ichiro Oda. It is an amazing series, and I highly suggest watching it or reading the manga. Also, spoilers. Years before the events of the series, there was the King of the Pirates, the inspiration that led Straw Hat Luffy to become a pirate. This man was Gold D. Roger. Gold D. Roger was the first king of the pirates. He and his crew navigated the world, sailing on the East and West Blue, North and South Blue, and not even the dreaded Grand Line could hold back the ambitions of the Roger pirates, who sailed on the Oro Jackson. Luffy was inspired by Roger to become a pirate, but it wasn't for the wealth, fame, or power that Roger obtained. Luffy is, in chapter 507 of the manga, Luffy is talking with Rayleigh, who was Roger's first mate. And Luffy has let Rayleigh know that he has decided to become king of the pirates, and Rayleigh asks him, "Can you do it? What the Grand Line has in store for you is beyond your imagination. Your enemies will be strong. Can you control this wild sea?" And Luffy responds to Rayleigh by saying, "I don't want to control it. The King of the Pirates is just the freest man on the sea." So, to Luffy, being a pirate isn't about fighting against order. It's not about theft, plundering, or stealing, or taking what isn't his. To Luffy, it isn't evil or selfish. To Luffy, being a pirate is about freedom. And we can see how Gold D. Roger inspired this view of pirates into Luffy. Gold D. Roger, by gaining fame, wealth, and power, as well as everything else the world had to offer, and in obtaining, and in sailing the world, visiting everywhere, in exploring the world and the seas to its fullest. He showed unprecedented freedom. This isn't the first time that pirates like Straw Hats or others in this series have talked about becoming a pirate or being a pirate to obtain freedom. It's actually a pretty common theme that people become pirates to either accomplish their dream or to obtain freedom. So in this video, I'm here today to break down how the creators of One Piece use being a pirate as an analogy for freedom. We even see that pirates have multiple types of freedoms, and freedoms that other organizations don't express, such as opposed to the Marines. The Marines are part of a world order and act as the police and military forces. But that being said, they restrict the weaponry and uniforms that are used. There are only a few very distinct, very unique Marines, and those are generally the Vice Admirals or the Admirals themselves. Most of the Marines either use guns, swords, or cannons as their sole weapons, and they all have the same uniform. However, with pirates, they have this freedom of self-expression through their outfits, through their abilities and skill sets. Even across just the Straw Hat Pirates, we see a cook, samurai, and a talking reindeer. And they both look entirely separate from they all look entirely separate from each other, as well as they have different abilities. Sanji the cook is a kickboxer. He doesn't use his hands to fight. And Zoro, he uses 3 swords while fighting. Chopper, on the other hand, uses different transformations: Kung Fu point, guard point, jump point, strong point. A few of the transformations he uses. So, totally unique and free to express themselves in their appearances as well as in their skill sets. And it's not just with the Straw Hat Pirates. You can't confuse the Big Mama Pirates for Straw Hat Pirates. They're that distinct. You can't confuse the Heart Pirates for the Castle Pirates. There is just this huge freedom of self-expression and freedom to be oneself in becoming a pirate that other organizations in the series don't express. One very specific example of becoming a pirate to have the freedom to be oneself that I have to talk about revolves around the story of three brothers. They are Monkey D. Luffy, Portuguese D. Ace, and Sabo. They were not biologically brothers. However, they drank sake together and formed a bond and chose to be brothers. Before this, Sabo lived in an upper-class home, and he didn't want for anything material. However, the society he was born into dictated every aspect of his life. It chose what he learned in school. It forced him to use their mannerisms, and it restricted what he was allowed to care. Sabo, as a person and as an individual, was smothered, unimportant, and unexpressed. Sabo wanted to be an adventurer, but he would never get to live that dream from the home he was born into, and so he ran away, first to the forest, where he became brothers with Luffy and Ace. But he was caught, taken back home, and he found another opportunity to escape, this time faced with the choice of a life on the sea or with a wealthy life back home, where he would yet again be restricted. Sabo chose to be a pirate. He chose to go out to sea. He became a pirate, and he became free. In the first episode of the series, Luffy says, "I decided to become king of the pirates. I don't care if I die fighting for it." And as we see later, Luffy explains that he isn't becoming a pirate for fame, wealth, fortune, any of that. He isn't in it for the power. Luffy is fighting to become king of the pirates because he sees that man as the freest man on the sea. Luffy is fighting for the ultimate freedom, and in becoming a pirate, Luffy is claiming that freedom for himself. In our real-life history, we see the same ambitions, the same taking freedom for oneself from some of the greatest people in our history. Martin Luther King Jr. was a great man who campaigned for equal rights between races. Particularly, he was a black man in the United States back when racial segregation was a normal thing. He had to change the world that he was born into to have the same freedom as other people born into the same world, just with a different color skin. Martin Luther King Jr. was like a pirate from One Piece. He wasn't given freedom, but he claimed it. He took freedom for himself. Back in the day, when Martin Luther King Jr. was alive, there were multiple different types of racial segregation. Black people had to sit in the back of buses, and there were drinking fountains that society dictated for either white people with white skin or people with black skin. But Martin Luther King Jr. took upon himself the freedom to sit wherever he wanted on buses, the freedom to drink from any public drinking fountain, and through his example and his leadership of non-violent changes in accepting these freedoms, Martin Luther King Jr. helped to change an unfair society and has helped to grant thousands, hundreds of thousands of people the same freedoms that he had to claim and take himself. Even authors like Jane Austen were like pirates who gave themselves freedom. Jane Austen lived in the late 1700s and the early 1800s, and she loved to write and wanted to comment about the hypocrisies of her society. However, as a woman in that era, she was discouraged from both writing and from social criticism. Jane Austen, however, gave herself the freedom to write books and to express herself in the medium that she loved. And we all have benefited from it with a lot of classic novels that she has written. And society didn't give her the freedom that she lived her life by. Jane Austen, like pirates in the One Piece series, gave herself the freedom that she lived her life by. Now, I would love to continue giving you examples of how pirates equates to freedom from One Piece series, or even examples of real-life people from our history acting like the pirates did and giving themselves the freedom that they needed to self-express and the freedom of basic human rights that we in the United States get to experience every day. But I wanted to end this video by explaining why I think it is important that the creators of One Piece are using pirates as an analogy for freedom, and I want to explain what I think it means for the series, and particularly for Goldie Roger as a character. The true era of pirates did not start until after Goldie Roger was executed by the Marines on the island of Log Town, but Goldie Roger lived to say these last famous words. "You want my treasure, you can have it, but you'll have to find it first. I left everything I gathered in one place." These words sent countless souls to the sea in search of the fortune of the now deceased Pirate King. However, in knowing that becoming a pirate is accepting freedom, we see that this wasn't just a dying man sowing his last seeds of chaos. However, it was the king of the pirates, the man so wise that he could visit an island at the end of the world known as Raftel, a land thought only legend. It was a wise man who conquered the world, calling people to the ocean, telling them to become pirates. It was a call to freedom. Knowing that being a pirate is about accepting freedom is important because we see how Goldie Roger uses that freedom to go beyond boundaries, to go beyond conventional and the known. We see how it allowed Goldie Roger to die happy and to inspire generations. Goldie Roger said these words as he climbed the stairs to the stand where he was to be executed. Inherited will, the destiny of an age, the dreams of its people. As long as people continue to pursue the meaning of freedom, these things will never cease. And now that we know that being a pirate is about freedom, we see that Goldie Roger didn't only end his life by telling people to obtain freedom, but by calling people to obtain that freedom. You want my treasure, you can have it. I left everything I gathered in one place. These words sent countless souls to the sea, where they became pirates, where they became free. Hello everyone, I just want to give you a huge thank you for watching this video. I'm very proud of the work, and it's been very interesting to look into how pirates in the One Piece series equates to freedom and are an analogy for that. If you like this video, please hit the like button, as well as if you want to leave comments down below. I would love to see a bunch of comments about how pirates from the One Piece series equal freedom, or about real-life people who acted like pirates. And, you know, I'll probably get a bunch of people who look up Blackbeard or other actual pirates, but I would also like to see examples of real-life people such as Martin Luther King Jr. or Jane Austen, who claimed freedom upon themselves and helped to improve our world. Also, please subscribe to the channel and also ring the bell. I am here to post, my goal is to post on Mondays and Thursdays. And so, with that all being said, I'm glad that you watched. Thank you for watching the video. Also thank you for all of you who subscribe. And yeah, I will see you on Thursday. So, with that being said, this is Christian of FireFeDragon, signing out until next video.